10 o'clock in the morning. A lot of the snakes are still sleeping, but we have some active snakes here. The Mexican Black Kingsnake is out and active as it would normally be in the wild. Active first thing on the morning, and late in the evening we can take this guy out. We just very gently lift him out. When you handle snakes, you let them grip you rather than you grip them. They feel much more comfortable that way. So this is a locally bred Mexican Black Kingsnake. You can see he's very alert and active. Quite a fast snake. Absolutely jet black. See if we can just get a belly shot, see if you can see the iridescence on his belly scales. Just underneath his chin you can see he's got a little white patch just underneath his chin. So we put him back. And he will curl up later in the day and go to sleep. And you can see in the two cages underneath, the Woma pythons are also active. The female, the big girl on the top there, she's hungry. I'm not going to handle her because she wants feeding. The male underneath, a little bit smaller, he's a little bit more manageable. Let's see if we can get him out. We just reach in very gently. This guy is an Australian snake, a Woma python. This is a male. He's called Max, obviously from the Mad Max movie. Woma pythons typically have a very, very strong feed response, and they can be a little bit sneaky. They'll sneak up on you like that, and then all of a sudden they will clamp on and bite you. So you do have to watch for that. You see the head stamp on this guy? The black eyebrows, the little black eyebrows he's got there. This guy is about 3 years old, and he is breeding with the female. I'm hoping she's going to lay some eggs later in the year. Lovely snake. Again, typically these will be active mornings and evenings. They tend to rest up during the night. And also during the heat of the day. And we provide these guys with hide boxes because they do like to curl up. Naturally in the wild they would find a burrow or somewhere where they could get out of the heat. Look at the belly on this guy. Really glossy and bright. So we'll put him back in here. After each time I handle a snake, I do like to just use the hand sanitizer just in case. Now, contrast these snakes here, which are very active on a morning. The big retics are all curled up and fast asleep. That would be normal too. The green tree python. Now, this is very definitely a nocturnal snake, and that's very, very normal. By early morning, first light, she's curled up and fast asleep. You can see she's hanging on the branch there. just like a coiled rope with half the coils on one side and half the coils on the other side. And she never comes down onto the ground. So in contrast to the other snakes, which have a decent area but not much height, this guy needs some height because he doesn't come down onto the ground. So we can open his cage because he's fast asleep. He knows we're here, but usually she's pretty docile during the day. And I do have some fake leaves in here. You can just see I don't want to unsettle the snake, but generally speaking, during the day I can come in here, I can change the water bowl, which I'll do right now. But she's pretty calm. Now you'll notice that she is in a glass terrarium, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. The glass terrarium means that as a display snake we can actually see her, but it also means she can see us. So the reason that I put the vegetation in here, the plastic vegetation, it's easy to clean, is so that she feels a little bit more comfortable if people move past, or just to give her something so that she can get what she thinks is out of sight, so she feels more comfortable in there. So that's why we do that. Now I'm going to video later on feeding day or feeding night for this girl to contrast the behaviour of her now while she's sleeping and fairly passive to her behaviour at night when she gets fed. Very, very interesting. But if we just zoom in on her head right now, I think you can see she's got a very, very large head for the size of snake. She's actually about 4 feet long, but you can see the heat pits on her nose there. Let me just turn the lights on. There we go, so you can see a little better. And she doesn't like that. But you can see the heat pits on the front of her snout there. Those eyes. Lovely eyes. So that's one of the senses that she will use when she's hunting. She's starting to tongue flick now, so she's not asleep. She's curious about what's going on. She's tucking her head in. She wants to be left alone. So we'll do that. We'll leave her alone. But I will show a video, guys, of her when she's awake on feeding day, because it's very, very interesting to see the contrast in her behaviour, and also some of the adaptations and differences this snake has to some of the other snakes. This snake is arboreal, never comes down out of the trees, and that's why we provide it with these perches. And I've never actually seen her come down onto the ground. She will come down, she'll lower her head down to drink from a water bowl, and if she needs to go to the bathroom, she'll lower her tail down and go to the bathroom, but she'll never actually come out of off her perch. Very interesting snake, very pretty snake. Okay, 9 o'clock at night. It's been dark for a couple of hours now. The birds have settled down for the night to roost, and many of the nocturnal small tree-dwelling mammals are out and about. This is a perfect time for our green tree python to be out hunting. So we're gonna feed the green tree python. So if you don't like feeding videos, don't watch this. We're gonna feed her a frozen thawed rat. But first, let's take a look at the green tree python. You can see, if you focus in on the cage, how alert she is now. She's coiled. She's hanging from her branch, and you can see that the coils on the branch, the bulk of her body weight is actually underneath the branch. So she has a very low center of gravity, perfect balance, which enables her to strike from that position without falling out of the tree. If you look at her eyes, you will see that she does actually have extremely good peripheral vision, but she also has binocular vision. She can see quite well. If I just put my hand over the roof of the cage, you see she can see that. She knows my hand is at the top of the cage, so she sees quite well. She's perfectly capable of hunting during the day, and you can see that her camouflage is absolutely superb against the green leaves of the trees that she lives in. If she remains motionless there, it's very, very difficult to spot. Some of the other adaptations that she has there, you can see how S-shaped, how coiled she is there. She has an extremely fast strike. I think, as everybody can imagine, birds are very, very difficult prey items to catch. So she has a very, very fast strike, which you will see in a moment when we give her the rat. But she also has a very, very long strike range. She can easily reach the edge of the cage here from that position in the blink of an eye. So very, very well adapted for catching her prey. She also has very large teeth. If she does manage to bite into a bird and capture a bird, she doesn't want to end up with just a mouthful of feathers. She needs to be able to penetrate those feathers and actually grip flesh so that she can keep a good grip on her prey. So those are the adaptations that a green tree python has for living in the trees and for preying on birds and very fast mammals. So let me just get the rat now. And I'll take it out of the water. It has been warmed up, so it does have a heat signature. As I said, she's perfectly capable of hunting during the day, but her main advantage is at night, because she does have those heat pits that we saw earlier on. So she can key in on a heat signature. So I'm going to offer her this rat now. It is quite warm. And I do need to be careful because she is lightning fast. So I'll offer the rat. And you notice how she coils and begins to constrict her prey without losing her balance from the perch. And I can pull on that rat quite hard and she will not lose her balance. So the other interesting thing about green tree pythons is that now that she's captured the prey, if this were a ball python and they'd captured the rat, you could come back to the cage in 5 minutes time and that rat will be gone. She would have eaten it. The green tree python hangs on to its prey for a very, very long time. She will make absolutely certain that that prey is dead before she starts to consume it, because she can't afford to relax her grip on her prey and then have it fly away. So she does hold on to her prey for a longer period of time than most snakes normally would, just to make sure that it's dead. Fantastic. So that's the green tree python. So just a few comments on the cage that the green tree python is kept in. As we discussed yesterday, a tub is not really suitable for this kind of snake because they are arboreal and they need some height to work with. She's a tree-dwelling snake and she needs to have a cage with some height to it. You can see that she's actually started now to eat her prey. And she hasn't relaxed her grip on the perch. She's hanging on and she will eat the prey in mid-air. So this kind of terrarium is very, very good for me as a snake keeper, because I get to observe all the different habits of the snake. It's a very visual experience, so really, really nice setup for humans to observe snakes, but most snakes are not really comfortable with being viewed. They're very secretive creatures and they like to keep out of sight. And that's why primarily we put the vegetation in there, so that she can actually get some sort of security and feel that she is actually hiding. Plus the fact that I think it's really, really cool to be able to see the green tree python against the setting of the leaves and see how well camouflaged she is. We are in the tropics, so there is no heating at all in the cage. I do use a substrate which is dry, and the top of the cage is wire mesh. So In the room that we have here, we actually control the parameters, the temperature and the humidity in the snake's cages by actually controlling the temperature and the humidity in the room. So we do have air conditioning if we need it. Extremely good ventilation in that cage. We have full-time fans working here just to circulate the air a little bit. So it's an extremely good setup for her in this kind of environment. If you're working in a temperate climate that requires heat mats, lamps and other such things for a green tree python, just be aware that they do need quite high humidity. It's very, very humid in the tropics, and that a cage such as this with the ventilation on the top might not be suitable for a temperate climate where you're actually adding heat and removing humidity, because you'll dry out the atmosphere in the cage and make it too dry for the snake. So it's a perfect setup for her here in this snake room. It may not be ideal for you in your circumstances.